What's up, blockheads? I am headed in to trade in my FXDR. I tried to do this thing through a private sale. I had a lot of people hit me up saying that they were interested and that they were okay with the price. We even agreed on a price. Multiple people agreed on a price because it's not like I was looking to, you know, sell it for a crazy stupid amount or anything. But a lot of tire kickers out there, man. One person even said, like, I gotta ask my wife, and they were like, okay, cool, can we do rider to rider? Didn't follow through. So for all you people out there that inquire about buying a motorcycle, just make up your mind before you contact somebody. This stuff is frustrating, man. Having to basically keep up correspondence between like everybody that's interested for it just to like fail. Anyways, that's a different episode. This episode, since it is my last ride on the FXDR, is going to be going over basically 5 things that I liked about the Harley-Davidson FXDR. Let's get to it. Alright, so thing number 1 that I liked about the Harley-Davidson FXDR was the aesthetic. I mean, I'm a fan of sport bikes, as you guys know, or if you don't know, previously I have owned Yamaha R6 600cc Super Sport, and I also owned a Honda CBR 1000RR, also a Super Sport. I'm a fan of sport bikes, so I'm a fan of like that fairing, like more aggressive styling kind of stuff. Always have been. But yet, I was a fan of cruisers as well, and so whenever I saw this thing, I was like, what? Like a drag-inspired cruiser? I was also a big fan of the Breakout and the V-Rod. So this was kind of like a perfect medley. You know, it had like kind of the aggressive look, you know, the fat rear tire of the V-Rod, the low, like stretch stance of a Breakout. It just looked a bit sportier, you know? So I was immediately drawn to the aesthetic of it. What's funny is in pictures, I wasn't the biggest fan, but in person, I was like, what? It looks good. I don't actually really want to get rid of this bike, but it's not fitting the application that I need it for anymore. I got my Harley-Davidson 883 back, and I'm gonna build that out. And then I'm basically trading it out for a bike that will be better on distance, and you guys will see what that bike is here in the reveal video in, I don't know, probably like an episode or 2. So yeah, thing number 1, the aesthetic. Absolutely loved it. Thing number 2 was the fact that it has the Milwaukee 8114. So I came over, I basically traded, I didn't trade my 2017 Dyna Low Rider S for this. I actually did a rider to rider like sale for the Low Rider S, and then I basically took the equity from that and put it into the FXDR. One of the things that I really disliked about the FXDLS, or the Dyna Low Rider S, you know, it had the 110 cubic inch, you know, twin cam, but dude, that thing would get stupid hot. Like, I would have to hold my leg like way off to the side at times, you know, riding it around in the city. It was just, it got unbearably hot. And so the thing that I really like about this is that, so you've got the 114, right? And versus the twin cam, the Milwaukee 8, it runs cooler, it performs better. So those are 2 big perks. And single cam, so once you throw a cam in them, really wakes them up. So a lot of perks of the engine, you know, the Milwaukee 8 and the Softail. So that's not just specifically this bike, but one of the reasons that I did like this bike is that it had the new Milwaukee 8. And I've had no issues with it at all. The bike has been great since, you know, day 1. Had it for about a year, a little under a year. I know it's pretty quick to kind of get rid of a bike, but it's just one of those things, like I said, it just doesn't fit the application anymore. So the third thing that I liked about the bike was the fact that it has a really good capacity tank on it. I didn't really put those together though, because in my head I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, like it's gonna be my new around town bike, and the original plan was to basically buy this one and then buy a project Dyna and make that Dyna for something that could do distance better. Well, like I said, I got my original Sportster Iron 883 back, what I'm calling the OG 883. Kind of threw a whole wrench in my system, in my plans. So I didn't need, I mean, this is an around town bike based on the seating position. You're kind of like folded up. It's really weird actually though, despite this one, you know, with the forward controls, And clip-ons, this one actually doesn't hurt my back as much as like the Indian Scout, like in the Indian Scout Bobber. Like, dude, I rode that bike and my back was hurting like crazy. I can ride this bike for a while and my back doesn't hurt. So despite the ergonomics, back doesn't hurt. I mean, after a long enough ride, yeah. But you know, it's not like one of those bikes that's meant for distance. It can do it. Yeah, it's got, you know, 6-speed transmission, you know, the 114 Milwaukee 8, so it's plenty capable. It's just in terms of comfort, not the best. So the next thing that I like about the bike is that it feels very planted. Like the riding that I'm doing right now, you know, interstate highway, if there's no wind, the bike feels incredibly planted. So you would think with the bigger rear tire, it's got a 240 in the rear, you know, but the angle of the rake, the size of the front wheel and tire, it just all kind of works out, man. I don't know, it's like the geometry of it all works for some reason. And you know, you would think with a wider rear tire that it wouldn't handle that well, but it actually does handle very well, which is the next thing that I like, which I'll talk about in a second. So yeah, whenever you're going on a highway and you're on interstate and stuff like that, and you're going at like, you know, I'm going 80 right now, it just feels really planted. One of the things that I wish Harley would offer for this bike, or, you know, did offer, is either mid controls, you know, so like to bring your feet back a little bit more. Because I mean, at this, like if you're here and you try and duck a little further down behind the little speed screen, I think they call it, like it's pretty uncomfortable. Dude, if Harley-Davidson offered rear sets for this thing, game changer. Total game changer. You'd be laying down on the thing, you'd basically be like right here, the legs would be back like that, and I mean, you wouldn't feel any of the wind, and it'd just be, I mean, it's a more dangerous riding position, so I mean, I kind of understand why they didn't do it, but if they were to, man, that would be, like I said, total game changer for this bike. And I think a lot of people would be interested in having those rear sets too, because I feel like I see like Busa riders, you know, riding around their Busas like that a lot, you know, with rear sets and kind of leaning like that. And so the next thing, like I was saying, is the handling of it. So despite it being a low bike, it has a really good lean angle. Also another thing I love about it, which, you know, I guess like factors into the handling. So yeah, like I said, 240 rear tire, but despite that, it leans very easily into the turns. You would think something like this, especially with as long as it is, that it wouldn't handle well, you know, you couldn't really do low speed maneuvering well, but it's actually not true. This thing, it wants to lean, it wants to turn, and so that is definitely something Harley-Davidson got right. Like I said, about the geometry of the rear wheel, like the rake, and the size of like the front wheel and tire. It all contributes to the handling, and then also it's got a really good like ground clearance in the turns, or I guess like turning clearance. I think it's one of the highest of the Softail models. But what's funny is, like, you would look at this bike and you would think, man, that thing probably doesn't turn for shit, but that's not true at all. Like, you can really lean this bike over and not scrape. They put the shorter pegs on it, which is a Pro and a Con. Like from the factory, the pegs that are on here are shorter. Actually, they're probably about that same size. These are Speed Merchant, I think. Swap them out. But yeah, that combined with, like, I don't know, the cases, like, are kind of higher up. There's just a lot of clearance on this bike whenever you lean it over. That's one of the things I was just the absolute most impressed with. Granted, I'm not riding on, you know, mountain roads or, you know, taking twisties, because we don't really have those here in Florida. But on the off chance that I did find a twisty road, it was really nice to have that. Yeah, the fact that it leaned well. Because on my last bikes, you know, like my Sportster, man, that bike doesn't lean for anything. And then on my Low Rider S, my Dyna Low Rider S, that thing also didn't lean for anything. Granted, I lowered it, but it was just kind of, at the time I had a sport bike as well, and I was like, you know what, if I want to lean, I'll grab my sport bike. I don't have sport bikes anymore, I got rid of them, but it's kind of one of those things. It's like, I'm not really looking to lean the hell out of a Harley. Like, this one can do it, but they're not made for it. They're meant for cruising. And I know you're gonna have those people that go out there and, you know, take them on the track and stuff like that, and so that's all good and well, but look at how many of those guys are going off the track and wrecking their bikes and going into bushes off of, you know, mountainsides and all that stuff. So I mean, really, you know, it can do it, but it's not the tool that's made for it. If you want to lean like that and, you know, get all into the turns and drag knee, bro, you know, get something that's like a little better suited for it. But if you want to stick with Harley and you want something that has good lean angle, the FXDR is a good one. No rain! I almost got all the way through without rain. Damn it. Anyways, since it is starting to rain, I guess that is my list. It's funny, the last time I went to go trade in a bike, I think it was the Dyna Low Rider S, and it was raining also. So it's like, I don't know, the motorcycle gods, they know it's a sad day in the Blockhead house. Now, there are some cons about the bike, but like I said, I'll make that into a separate episode. I think I'm actually almost there, so I probably won't be able to do a cons episode fast enough, but maybe I'll just do a voiceover. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you're considering the FXDR, take it for a test ride. That's my biggest piece of advice. Throw a leg over it. Decide for yourself if it's for you. A lot of people don't like it, but I mean, there's a few people out there that do. I'm one of those that do. I get it. It's very different for a Harley-Davidson, but I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons that I like it. It's not your same old, but I do need something a little bit more practical. So whenever I ride to work, you know, I can basically take a bike. So my truck is getting terrible gas mileage after, you know, lifting it and putting bigger wheels and tires. Who'd have thought, right? You guys, you've been watching previous episodes, you know all about that. The bike that I'm trading in for should be a nice project. I think you guys will enjoy it, and it should definitely fit the application of distance a lot better. One of those things to consider, you know, this bike, man, she nice, but she ain't really made for distance, in my opinion. It can do it, it's just whether you have the, I don't know, the willingness to do it. It's up to you. Anyways, hope you guys found this one insightful of the Harley-Davidson FXDR if you're considering it. If it did help you out a little bit, be sure to hit the like button. Even if it didn't help you out a little bit and you're not considering the FXDR, hit the like button anyways. If you guys aren't subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon also so it sends you notifications of future uploads and activity. I know there's a number of y'all out there that aren't part of that bell yeah squad, so you gotta click that bell so you can be notified of what's what whenever there's new stuff up. Man, see, this is what I'm talking about. Whenever there's no like crosswind and you're just kind of tucked and you're good on this bike, it's stable, man. It's planted. Like, I could be going 100 on this bike and I'd be good. But I mean, I'm not in Mexico, so, you know, whatever. Anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. I'm sorry about the wetness. The water. That's what I'm looking for. Sorry about the water. Peace.